Hello friends, welcome to Open University. And in last class we were discussing about center tap full wave rectifier operations, and also we were discussing about the analysis of center tap full wave rectifier. Then we discussed advantages of center tap full wave rectifier and disadvantages of center tap full wave rectifier. The disadvantages of center tap full wave rectifier would be removed by bridge rectifier. Bridge rectifier will overcome the disadvantages of center tap full wave rectifier. Basically, it will remove the disadvantage of peak inverse voltage and the use of center tap full wave rectifier. Those two disadvantages will be overcome by the bridge rectifier. Next, take one question on center tap full wave rectifier. Write down my question. Write down my question on center tap full wave rectifier. A full wave rectifier uses diodes of internal resistance 20 ohm, diodes of internal resistance 20 ohm, and load resistance is 800 ohm, and load resistance is 800 ohm, and load resistance is 800 ohm. Full stop. If secondary voltage with respect to center tapped or in bracket center terminal, with respect to center tap or in bracket center terminal, is 70 volt RMS, is 70 volt RMS, and frequency is 50 hertz, then calculate the first point, DC output current. First point, DC output current, and second one, RMS output current, output current, and third one, DC diode voltage and current. DC diode voltage and current. Fourth one is peak inverse voltage and ripple frequency. Okay. What is DC output current? Nothing but IDC. What is RMS output current? Nothing but IRMS. Okay. This is your IDC. You need to calculate IDC here. Here you need to calculate IRMS. Okay. What is DC diode voltage? You need to calculate V diode DC of your center tap full wave rectifier, and also you need to calculate DC diode current, the average current through the diode. Okay. Then you need to calculate peak inverse voltage and ripple frequency. Okay. The question is about a full wave rectifier, that is particularly center tapped full wave rectifier. Okay. What are the data given? A full wave rectifier uses a diode of internal resistance 20 ohm. Diodes of internal resistance 4 ohm, means the diodes having internal resistance RF equal to 20 ohm. The internal resistance of the diode is 20 ohm, and load resistance is 800 ohm. RL is your 800 ohm. Okay. And if secondary voltage with respect to center tap, this is your center tap transformer, okay, the center terminal is grounded, it is given that if secondary voltage with respect to center tap, with respect to this center tap is 70 volt RMS, means this voltage is given, the RMS voltage of this is 70 volt, 70 volt RMS, also here also 70 volt RMS. With respect to center terminal, the RMS voltage is 70 volt, means RMS value of VA is 70 volt, also RMS value of VB is 70 volt, magnitude wise, okay. That means what is this? This is 70 volt RMS. VA is a sinusoidal signal whose RMS value is 70 volt. You can write that Vm by root 2 equals to 70 volt. Okay. Then what is Vm equal to? Vm equal to 70 into root 2, which will be 98.9 volt. 98.9 volt. Vm is 98.9 volt. You have to calculate Vm first. This is not Vm, this is Vrms. Okay, and you know to calculate Vm, you need to use this formula, Vm by root equal to 70 and Vm equal to 98.9 volt. Okay, now it is asked to find out first point, DC output current. How to get DC output current? DC output current means IDC. What is the IDC value in case of center tap full wave rectifier? It was 2 Im by pi. 2 Im by pi. What is Im? Im is Vm by Rf plus RL. What is Vm? 98.9. Okay, 98.9 divided by what is Rf? Rf is 20. What is RL? RL is 800. So divided by 820. Then this will be 120.7 milliampere. 120.7 milliampere. Im is 120.7 milliampere. If you substitute this value, then 2 times 120.7 milliampere divided by pi, then this will be 76.8 milliampere. 76.8 milliampere. This is your IDC. IDC value is 76.8 milliampere. Next, calculate second question, that is RMS output current. How to get RMS output current means you need to calculate IRMS. What is the formula for IRMS in case of center tap full wave rectifier? It is Im by root 2. Im by root 2. What is Im? Im is 120.7 milliampere divided by root 2. This will be 85.3 milliampere. 85.3 milliampere. 85.3 milliampere IRMS value. And third question about DC diode voltage. DC diode voltage. DC diode voltage means V diode DC. V diode DC. What was the formula for V diode DC in case of center tap full wave rectifier? It was minus 2 Vm by pi. What is the value of Vm? Vm is 98.9. So 98.9 divided by pi, this will be minus 63 volt, minus 63 volt. Okay, and also it is asked to find out DC diode current. What is the value of DC current through the diode? This is your center type full wave rectifier. Okay, this is your center type full wave rectifier. This is your load resistance. The average current IDC is 2 Im by pi, 2 Im by pi. And you know your center type full wave rectifier is combination of two half wave rectifier. Okay, so it is the combination of two half wave rectifier. So if the current through this is 2 Im by pi, then what is the average current through each diode will be, average current through each diode will be Im by pi. This is also Im by pi. So Im by pi plus Im by pi will be 2 Im by pi. So average, what is the average current through diode is Im by pi, or DC current through the diode is Im by pi. So what is I diode DC? I diode DC is Im by pi. It is asked to find out the average current through the diode, not through the load. Average current through the diode. What is the average current through each diode? Is Im by pi. So what is Im value? 120.7 milliampere divided by pi, which will be 38.4 milliampere. 38.4 milliampere. Or you can understand like this. You know that this is your input waveform V and BV. Okay, that D1 will conduct from 0 to pi, then that D2 will conduct from pi to 2 pi, then D1, then D2, so on. Okay, since each diode, the average value, if you calculate for from 0 to 2 pi, then you will get 2 Im by pi. If you calculate the average value of this current, this is your output 0, pi, 2 pi. Okay, this is your instantaneous output current. Now if you calculate average value over 2 pi interval from 0 to 2 pi, then you will get 2 Im by pi. Okay, if you calculate over 0 to 2 pi, then it will be 2 Im by pi. In this 0 to 2 pi interval, diode D1 will conduct for half cycle and diode D2 will conduct for next half cycle. So what is the average current if you calculate over half cycle? It will be Im by pi. Average current through, since each diode will conduct for half cycle, then average current through the diode will be Im by pi. Okay, this is the average current 2 Im by pi when you calculate for by considering both the diodes. Okay, average current by considering both the diodes. If you calculate average current for one diode, then it will be Im by pi. So average current through each diode will be Im by pi. In any rectifier, average current through the diode will be Im by pi. Whether it is half wave rectifier or full wave rectifier, the average current through the diode will be Im by pi. Next, calculate peak inverse voltage and ripple frequency. Fourth point, peak inverse voltage. What is peak inverse voltage in center tap full wave rectifier? It is 2 VL. So it is 2 into 98.9 volt, which will be 197.8 volt. 197.8 volt. Peak inverse voltage. And what is the ripple frequency? Is 2 omega naught. Ripple frequency is 2 omega naught or 2 f naught. Okay. What is f naught? What is the input frequency? Was given 50 hertz. Input frequency is 50 hertz. So 2 times 50 hertz, that is 100 hertz. That is 100 hertz. So ripple frequency is 100 hertz. What is ripple frequency? It is the smallest frequency present in the output waveform, or it is the smallest frequency present in the AC component. The smallest frequency present in the AC component is said to be ripple frequency. Next, take the heading bridge rectifier. Take the heading bridge rectifier. The smallest frequency present in the AC component is called as ripple frequency. What was the ripple frequency in half wave rectifier? It was omega naught or f naught. And in case of center tap full wave rectifier, it is 2 times omega naught or 2 times f naught. Next, give the heading bridge rectifier. The last rectifier, bridge rectifier. Bridge type full wave rectifier. Third rectifier, this is your third rectifier, that is bridge rectifier. Bridge rectifier. This bridge rectifier will overcome the disadvantages of center tap full wave rectifier. It will overcome the disadvantages of full wave rectifier, that is peak inverse voltage and use of center tap full wave rectifier. If peak inverse voltage is higher, then you need a diode having greater breakdown voltage, and such diodes are costlier. And since center tap full wave rectifier uses a center tap transformer, which is bulk in size and is also costly, so those two disadvantages will be overcome by bridge rectifier. Draw the diagram. Number of terms on secondary is less. N1 is to N2, where N1 is greater than N2. Here I am not using center tap transformer. I am using normal step down transformer. Okay. Then I am using 4 diodes connected in a bridge, like a bridge. Okay. This is your load resistance. This is your load resistance RL. This is your instantaneous output current. This is your output voltage. The input will be a pure AC signal, pure AC. Okay. And this is VA. This is diode D1. This is D2. This is diode D3. And this is diode D4. Okay. Since these diodes are connected in a bridge, connected like a bridge, it is called as bridge rectifier. It is called as bridge rectifier. Let's understand the operation of the bridge rectifier. Okay. What is this VA? This is your pure AC signal. Okay, like a sinusoidal signal with greater RMS value. And VAE is also a sinusoidal signal with a reduced RMS value. The RMS value of this will be lesser than the primary side. So VAE is a sinusoidal signal. Okay, I am denoting VAE. I am denoting VAE. The input voltage VA as Vm sin alpha. Okay, where alpha is omega naught t. So that means the frequency is omega naught. Frequency of the input signal is omega naught. Let's understand the operation. This is your input waveform VA. The waveform for VA is like this: Vm sin alpha. This is your alpha. This is 0. This is pi. This is 2 pi. This is 3 pi. So on. This is your VA. This is Vm. And this is minus Vm. Let's understand the operation of the bridge rectifier. Now, when alpha is in between 0 to pi, VA is positive. VA is positive. When alpha is in between 0 to pi, your input voltage VA is positive. Positive means positive with respect to this. Okay. Since this terminal is positive, then diode D1 will be forward biased, D4 will be reverse biased because positive voltage here. Okay, so D1 positive voltage will be connected to here, this point. So D1 will be forward biased, and also negative terminal is connected to this diode. So D3 will be also forward biased. So D1 and D3 will be forward biased. Positive voltage comes here, so it makes the D1 to forward biased, and negative voltage also comes here. It makes that D3 to forward biased because negative terminal connected to this point. So D1 and D3 are forward biased, and since positive terminal connected to this point, so this side is positive, so D4 will be in reverse biased, and this is negative, so negative voltage connected to this point, so D2 is also reverse biased. So D2 and D4 are reverse biased, and D1 and D3 are forward biased. So D1, D3 are forward biased, or it will be replaced with short circuit, or you can replace with resistance RF. And at that time, D2 and D4 are reverse biased, so we will replace with open circuit. open circuit. Okay, so let's short circuit this D1 and D3. When alpha is in between 0 to pi, D1 and D3 will be in forward biased, so replace with short circuit. Okay, D1 and D3 becomes short circuit and D2 and D4 becomes open circuit. You open it, D2 and make D2 and D4 to open circuit. Okay, so no current will pass through D2 and D4 in this path. Now, how the current will pass? The current will pass in this way. From positive, it will go like this, then through load, then it will come like this, then it will go like this, and again it will complete the path. So this is the way of current flow. Okay, when alpha is in between 0 to pi. Now what is V naught in this interval? V naught is nothing but the same VA will come to this point. Okay, the same VA will come to this point. So entire VA will appear across the V naught. So in this case, V naught equal to VA. Actually, if diodes have some internal resistance RF and here also RF, then some smaller amount of voltage will drop across the diode. Then you can write V naught will be approximately equal to VA. Okay. Then when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, let's understand the operation. Okay, this is diode D1, D2, D3 and D4. Let's understand when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi. When alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, VA is negative. VA is negative. VA is negative means with respect to bottom terminal becomes positive and upper terminal becomes negative. VA is negative means this terminal will become negative and this will become positive. Now, in this case, since negative voltage connected to this point, then it will make this D4 to forward biased. D4 will become forward biased, and since positive voltage connected to this point, D2 will become forward biased. Okay, so D2 and D4 will become forward biased. At that time, when negative voltage connected to this point, D1 will become reverse biased because this terminal is connected to negative voltage. Okay, this terminal is connected to negative voltage, so D1 will be reversed biased, and since positive terminal is connected to this point, D3 will become reverse biased. Okay, so D1 and D3 becomes reverse biased and D2 and D4 becomes forward biased. So replace D2 and D4 with short circuit and D1 and D3 with open circuit. Let's redraw the diagram. So in this interval, replace D2 and D4 with short circuit and D1 and D3 with open circuit. D1 and D3 will become open circuited, okay, like this, and D1, D2 and D4 will become short circuited, okay. So D2 and D4 will become short circuit, D1 and D3 becomes open circuit. So no current will flow this path. Now, how the current will pass? Current will pass like this, from positive it will go like this, okay, then it will come like this, then it will go like this and complete the path this way. From positive, this side is positive, so it will go like this, then through load, then through this diode, then it will complete like this, okay. Now in this case, the positive terminal is connected to this point, okay. Positive terminal is connected to this point. So what is V naught? V naught is nothing but the same VA. So in this case, when VA is, when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, VA is negative, VA becomes negative, D2, D4 becomes forward biased, so replace with short circuit, and D1 and D3 becomes reverse biased, so replace with open circuit. And what will be your output voltage? Output voltage is, now in this case, V naught equal to VA. What is VA? When alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, this voltage. Or you can write, if you measure VA with this positive this terminal or negative this terminal, then what is your VA? What is VA here? V naught will be minus VA. This terminal is positive, VA is positive when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi. This bottom terminals becomes positive, okay, means with this voltage becomes positive. When alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, VA is negative, this terminal becomes negative, but this terminal becomes positive. The same positive voltage will appear across here, so V naught becomes positive VA plus VA, okay. When alpha is in between 0 pi to 2 pi, V naught will become plus VA. This voltage is negative and this voltage is positive, same positive voltage will appear across the output, so V naught will be plus VA. So if you obtain the output waveform, if you obtain the output waveform of your bridge rectifier, when alpha is in between 0 to pi, V naught equal to 0 to pi, V naught equal to VA. What is VA? This is VA. The same voltage will be appear across output. And when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, what is V naught equal to VA plus VA. When alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, this is minus VA. What is plus VA? This will be plus VA, positive VA. So this is the output waveform. This is negative, VA here is negative, okay, but with respect to this terminal, VA is positive. So here V naught equal to plus VA. So this is the output waveform for your bridge rectifier, which is same as center tap full wave rectifier. And it is a pulsating DC. So for any rectifier, the input is a pure AC signal and output is a pulsating DC signal. Output is a pulsating DC, means combination of AC and DC. Next, do the analysis, mathematical analysis of your bridge rectifier. For any rectifier, the input is a sinusoidal signal and output is a pulsating DC. Output of the rectifier is a pulsating DC, combination of AC and DC. We'll calculate some 16th 17th points mathematical analysis. Next, give the heading analysis of bridge rectifier. I am directly writing those instantaneous output current. I will be Im sin alpha when alpha is in between 0 to pi, and minus Im sin alpha when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi. This is your instantaneous output current, which is same as center tapped full wave rectifier. The same position for center tapped full wave rectifier. What is Im value? Only Im value will change little bit. Vm by instead of Rf you will write 2 Rf plus RL, because when current will pass, 2 diodes will be at a time. 2 diodes becomes forward biased, so current will pass through 2 diodes. So there will be 2 resistance. Okay, 2 Rf. So this 2 is 2 times RF because in bridge rectifier at a time 2 diodes conducts. Okay, so while conducting 2 diodes, those diodes will be replaced with resistance RF. So RF and RF becomes 2 RF. If you apply KVL, it will be 2 RF. So you need to remember this. Im equal to Vm by 2 RF plus RL. Then DC output current, which is same as the center tap full wave rectifier, 2 Im by pi. Third one, RMS output current, IRMS, that was Im by root 2, same as center tap full wave rectifier. Fourth one, RMS value of AC component, IRMS dash. The formula is IRMS square minus IDC square under root. This formula is for all rectifier. Fifth point, ripple factor. The formula for ripple factor is IRMS by IDC whole square minus 1 under root. It will become 0.483, which is same as center tap full wave rectifier. So this is the advantage. So less ripple is also present in the bridge rectifier, which is same as the center tap full wave rectifier. So in full wave rectifier, lesser amount of AC component is present. However, in half wave rectifier, the ripple factor was 1.21, so it indicates greater amount of AC component is present in half wave rectifier. Then sixth point, your input power, which is IRMS square into, instead of RF write 2RF plus RL. IRMS square into 2RF plus RL. This 2RF is due to two diodes conducts at a time, so you will replace those two diodes with RF and RF, then it becomes 2RF. Wherever RF in center type full wave rectifier, you replace RF with 2RF in bridge rectifier. Okay. Then seventh point is your efficiency, percentage efficiency will be 81 into RL by 2 RF plus RL. 81 into RL by 2 RF plus RL. Maximum efficiency is 81%. Third point, eighth point, V diode DC I am directly writing. This V diode DC only changes. What was this? In case of center type full wave rectifier, it was minus 2 Vm by pi, but here it is minus Vm by pi, which is same as half wave rectifier. Ninth one, that is peak inverse voltage. This peak inverse voltage will become Vm now. In center type full wave rectifier it was 2 Vm, but in bridge rectifier it becomes Vm. This is the advantage. So you need diodes with smaller breakdown voltage. This is those disadvantage was overcome by the bridge rectifier. Then 10th point, that is frequency of output. Frequency of output will be 2 times input frequency, 2 times f0 or 2 times omega naught. And this frequency of output you can also write it is same as ripple frequency. What was the ripple frequency in center type full wave rectifier? Ripple frequency was 2 times omega naught. Also, that was the frequency of the output. Here also the frequency of output, that is 2f0, is also same as ripple frequency. Output frequency is 2 times f0. Also same as ripple frequency, the smallest frequency present in the AC component. Then 11th point, that is form factor. Form factor is 1 point. Form factor is 1.11. In half wave rectifier it was 1.57, and in center type full wave rectifier it was also 1.11. Since form factor is close to 1, this indicates greater smoothness in the output waveform. Smaller the form factor, greater will be the smoothness or less variation. 12th point, VDC-NL. That is 12th point is VDC/ml, no load DC output voltage. It is same as, that is 2 Vm by pi, which is same as center tap full wave rectifier, 2 Vm by pi. And 13th point, that is VDC/FL, VDC/FL equal to IDC into RL, or you can write 2 Vm by pi minus IDC into R, where this R equals to RF, not RF, 2RF, and those RSW term will not be there. Okay, in half wave rectifier, that R was RF plus RSW. In center tap full wave rectifier, this RS was RF plus RSW by 2. In bridge rectifier, this R equal to 2RF plus no RSW term, because in center tap full, in bridge rectifier, this is your bridge rectifier. In bridge rectifier, suppose this is your bridge rectifier, which is something like this. Why this RSW term is not present? I am discussing that point. Now, when their D1 and D3 will conduct, then current will flow in this way. The current through the secondary winding will flow in this way. Okay, when diode D1 and D3 will flow, and when diode D2 and D4 will flow, then current will flow in this way. Okay, so current will be in this way, means in one direction, in one duration, the current through the diode will be in this direction. Okay, and in other interval, the current will be in opposite direction. Okay, this indicates that there is no internal DC drop. What is basically this IDC into R? IDC into R is nothing but the internal drop across the resistance, across the diode, okay, and secondary winding. Since your secondary winding, the current is bidirectional, which is nothing but sinusoidal, and for sinusoidal the average voltage is 0, so there will be no voltage drop across the internal DC drop across the secondary winding. Why no internal DC drop across the secondary winding? Because current through the secondary winding is bidirectional. Okay, that's why those RSW term is not there. So no drop across the secondary winding. You need to remember this R equal to 2RF. Next, 14th point. Percentage regulation. I am directly writing the formulas. Percentage regulation is R by RL into 100. What is percentage regulation basically? It is the amount of change in the DC output voltage due to the change in DC load current, where this R equals to 2RF. In center tap full wave rectifier, it was RF plus RSW by 2. But now here it is R equal to 2RF. Then 15th point. 15th point is Thevenin's equivalent circuit. In Thevenin's equivalent circuit, Thevenin's equivalent circuit, where you will find, I am directly writing the VTH value, that is 2 Vm by pi, and what is RTH? RTH equal to R, where this R equal to 2 RF. R equal to 2 RF. If you want to draw the Thevenin's equivalent circuit, you can draw like this. Okay, this is your RTH equal to R, and VTH equal to 2 Vm by pi, and this is your load resistance. Okay. This is Thevenin's equivalent circuit for your bridge rectifier, which is same as also center tap full wave rectifier, but here only R equal to 2 RF. Next, 16th point, angle of conduction. Angle of conduction. Sixteenth point, angle of conduction. Angle of conduction. What is angle of conduction? It is the duration for which the diode conducts or load current flows. If you see, this is your input waveform. Okay, 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, so on. This is input waveform, and this is your output waveform. This is 0, pi, 2 pi, and this is 3 pi. This is your output waveform. This is your alpha. Okay. Now, when alpha is in between 0 to pi, D1 and D3 will conduct. Okay. D1 and D3 will conduct in this interval. So output voltage is obtained. And when alpha is in between pi to 2 pi, D2 and D4 will conduct. So this output in this interval is due to D2 and D4 conducting. Now we are in what is angle of conduction. For what duration the diode conducts? If you completely find out the angle of conduction over this from 0 to 2 pi, then total first two diode D1 and D2 will conduct for 0 to pi, D2 and D4 will conduct for pi to 2 pi. So the angle of conduction is 360 degree. Okay, ideally angle of conduction becomes equal to 360 degree in ideal case. So for 360 degree, all the diodes are in conduction, or angle of conduction is also called as it is the duration for which load current flows. So load current will flow in this interval also. So total angle of conduction is 360 degree. If diodes are not ideal, okay, then if diodes have some cut-in voltage V gamma, then those current will flow only when the input voltage exceeds the cut-in voltage. Okay, then only current will flow. In that case, your angle of conduction, this is your one ideally, but if diodes have cut-in voltage, then angle of conduction becomes conduction becomes 360 degree minus 4 theta. If this is theta, this is 180 minus theta. Okay, again this is, or you can say if this is theta, this is 180 degree minus theta, this is 180 degree plus theta, and this is 360 degree minus theta. Then angle of, if you subtract this angle minus this angle, then it will be 360 minus 4 theta. But D1 and D3 will conduct for theta to 180 degree minus theta. Okay, and D2 and D4 will conduct from 180 degree plus theta to 360 minus theta. So total angle of conduction is 360 degree minus 4 theta. This will be, this interval will become 360 degree, 180 minus theta will be 180 minus 2 theta. Angle of conduction for D1 and D3 is 180 minus theta, 2 theta. Here also 180 minus 2 theta. So total will become 360 minus 4 theta, where theta will become, or theta or this theta equals to sine inverse 2b gamma by bm. You need to remember this 2b gamma, because when you apply input voltage, since diodes have some cut-in voltage V gamma, and at a time two diodes becoming forward biased, so when your input voltage exceeds 2b gamma, okay, if this is B gamma, then it will become 2b gamma, because some B gamma amount of voltage will drop across each diode. So when your input voltage exceeds this 2b gamma, then only diode will conduct. Okay, some B gamma will drop across diode D1 and some voltage will drop across diode D3, then only current will flow. So when input voltage exceeds 2b gamma, so the minimum voltage required for current to flow is 2b gamma. That's why 2b gamma is here. This 2b gamma is due to the two diodes are conducting at a time. So at a time some b gamma amount of voltage will drop across each diode. So total b gamma and b gamma will become 2b gamma. So 2b gamma amount is due to those two diodes conducting at a time. And the last point, that is 17th point, that is TOF. Seventeenth point, that is TOF. Here TOF for primary winding and secondary winding is same, because center terminal is not tapped. Okay, so the primary winding TOF and TOF for primary winding and TOF for secondary winding is same. Okay, so I am interested to find out what is TOF. The TOF for your bridge rectifier is 0.81 into RL by 2RF plus RL. 0.81 into RL by 2RF plus RL. What is the maximum TOF? Becomes 0.81. Maximum TOF is 0.81. Next, give the heading advantages of bridge rectifier. Advantages of your bridge rectifier. Advantages of your bridge rectifier. What are the advantages? One advantage is it is not using any center tapped full wave rectifier. This is the advantage. So this is one advantage. And second advantage is peak inverse voltage becomes Vm. This is the second advantage. So first point under advantages, give the heading advantages of bridge rectifier, of your bridge rectifier. First point, it does not require any center tap transformer. It does not require a center tapped transformer. A center tapped transformer. Center tapped transformer. And second point, peak inverse voltage becomes small. So smaller peak inverse voltage. This is the second advantage, smaller peak inverse voltage. Those two disadvantages of center tapped full wave rectifier is now removed in bridge rectifier. Bridge rectifier does not require center tap transformer, and also peak inverse voltage is smaller. And the third point, the top is greater top, so greater DC output power. Fourth point, your bridge rectifier can be used in high voltage rectifier. Your bridge rectifier can be used as a high voltage rectifier. Okay, how a high voltage rectifier requires is like it doesn't use a center, it doesn't require a step down transformer. Number of turns in primary winding and secondary winding are same. Okay, so because in high voltage power supply you don't require a step down transformer. You can directly, or you can directly do like this. High voltage means, high voltage rectification means high DC output voltage. Why you basically use step down transformer in your rectifier? Because we are talking about low voltage rectifier, and to get low DC output voltage you will require a step down transformer which will reduce the strength. But if you require a high voltage rectifier to get high DC output voltage, you don't need to use this step down transformer. You can directly apply the AC signal. You see this. Okay, this is your pure AC signal. You directly apply pure AC. Okay, this is your load resistance. This is a high voltage rectifier, high voltage bridge rectifier, where you will get high DC output voltage. Okay, Such bridge rectifier can also be used in high voltage power supply. Okay, in high voltage power supply you can use bridge rectifier. This is the another advantage. So bridge rectifier can be used as a high voltage rectifier. Bridge rectifier can be used as bridge rectifier can be used as high voltage rectifier. Why you can use it as high voltage rectifier? Because peak inverse voltage is smaller. Bridge rectifier can be used as high voltage rectifier. Because peak inverse voltage becomes smaller. Suppose what is peak inverse voltage? In case of bridge rectifier, it is Bm. Okay, let the input you apply, you are applying a pure AC signal. You are applying a pure AC signal to a bridge rectifier in case of high voltage power supply. Okay, you are applying directly a pure AC signal. Now the peak inverse voltage is Vm. If the RMS value of this AC signal, that is Vm by root 2, is 220 volt, the RMS value is 220 volt, then what will be your Vm? Is 220 into root 2, it will be almost 311 volt. Now this 311 volt peak inverse voltage will become 311 volt. Okay, now if your center tap full wave rectifier cannot be used as high voltage rectifier, you cannot use center tap full wave rectifier as a high voltage rectifier, because in that case peak inverse voltage is 2 Vm. In case of center tap full wave rectifier, your peak inverse voltage is 2 Vm. If you directly apply your AC signal in case of high voltage power supply to a center tap full wave rectifier, then what is Vm now? Vm is 311, then 2 into 311, that is 622 volt. That means you need a diode having breakdown voltage greater than 622 volt, and such diodes are not available. Diodes with breakdown voltage are available up to from 0 to 600 volt. In this range of breakdown voltage, diodes are available. And now in this case, if you use center tap full wave rectifier as high voltage rectifier, then you require diode having breakdown voltage of greater than 622 volt, and such diodes are not available. And if you will not use such high breakdown voltage diode, then diode will be damaged. So basically you will not use your center tap full wave rectifier in high voltage power supply. But bridge rectifier can be used as high voltage power supply, because Vm is becoming 311 volt, and such diodes with breakdown voltage greater than 311 volt is available. Diodes with breakdown voltage available from 0 to 600 volt. So such diodes are available with breakdown voltage greater than 300 volt, and you can use this bridge rectifier in high voltage power supply. This is the fourth advantage.